Well, hello, it's the Soldier of Truth. It's been a while. Please like, share, and subscribe. I pray that you have been experiencing God on many levels and that you have went higher in God since the last we connected. Today I want to talk about scorched places. Scorched places. Wonder why God leaves us in places that we feel like we don't belong or that we feel like we are not a part of. You ever wonder why? Well, it happens. It happens. And truth be told, some of us have been in those places and some of us are in those places right now. And if you have never been in those places and right now you're not in that place, keep living, you will be. Keep living. You hear the old saints say, keep living. You know, it doesn't matter how we spin it in this scorched place, we get the same results. We get the same results. They just keep reoccurring. It doesn't matter how we spin it. It doesn't matter how we change it. It doesn't matter how nice you are. It doesn't matter. It's the same results. You get rejected, you get thrown away, you get tossed aside. It doesn't matter. And guess what? It doesn't make you feel apart. It doesn't make you feel comfortable. You go through a lot just to go or to get to that scorched place. Now, we know better than to question God. But since we know not to question God, we also have to remember that it is set up by His design. It is set up by His design. The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 9. Being careful not to rock the boat, we mask our feelings while waiting on God to intervene. Some of us stop going to the place. Some of us isolate ourselves in the place. I'm guilty of that. And others cry as they go to the place and also leave the place. They are still crying. Guilty of that. And we're waiting and praying and hoping that God intervene. Waiting on God to release us from the trauma of being in that particular place. So how do we deal with the situation at hand without leaving the will of God for our lives? Because a lot of times God is not going to tell you to leave. A lot of times God is silent and you just don't understand why. But all you know is that you can't step out of His will, that you can't leave without Him allowing you to do so, without Him giving you instructions on how and when to do so. So you're just stuck. You feel like you're just stuck, waiting on God to intervene. So how do we deal with the situation at hand without leaving the will of God for our lives? It's an awesome question that only God can answer. If God is the only one that can answer the question, have we really been seeking God for the answer? Oh yeah, I'm praying, but are you seeking God for the answer? Seeking is searching. Seeking is trying to find those car keys so you won't be late for work. You're going to overturn everything to find them. It's one thing just to say something. It's another thing to seek to find. You don't give up until you find. Think about what I'm saying. Have we really been seeking God for the answer? Have we stepped up our prayer lives to the point where we're going to pray no matter what? We're going to continue to search His word and fast, turn over our plates until we get the answer. Because we're seeking, we're looking, we're searching, trying to find the answer that we need to make it in this scorched place. And the Lord will guide you continually and satisfy your desire in scorched places and make your bones strong. And you shall be like a watered garden, like a spring of water whose water do not fail. Isaiah chapter 58, verse 11. So without a prayer life, we're not going to make it through the scorched places. Let's just be honest. Do not be anxious for anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your mind in Christ Jesus. Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 through 7. We use the phrase easier said than done often. But this case is that phrase. It's easier said than done because you feeling anxious, you're feeling depressed, you're upset. You don't want to be in this place where they mistreat you, where they reject you, where they throw you aside. You don't want to be there. So yes, it's easier said than done. But we have to be mindful not to give room to the enemy. We have to also be mindful not to miss God when he do intervene. So we got to get out of self. We got to get out of God's way to get the fullness of what he desires for us in this season in that scorched place. It's a fine line to walk. But prayer will allow you to stay focused and help you lay down your burdens. Cast all your cares upon him, for he cares for you. We will begin to see the reasoning or understand why we are in that scorched place, why we have to be there. Until that happens, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not, I repeat, do not lean to your own understanding. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Remember, if you're going to pray, don't worry. And if you're going to worry, don't pray. And this is the confidence that we have towards him, that if we ask anything according to his will, catch it, it has to be God's will, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. 1 John chapter 5, verse 14. So start praying. Start seeking. God is listening. Don't delay your exit out of that scorched place. And don't move before God and be out of his will. There is a plan for you. And God will work it out. It's going to work out for your good, even though you don't see that right now. Soldier of truth and soldier of truth to be. Be strong. Step up your prayer life. God is listening. Be blessed.